told you that there is a way to get everything you want in life without really caring how much it will cost? Here's the thing. We are so used to seeing an investment as an expense. But if we were able to reverse engineer the return of our investment and figure out how to make that investment work for us, and instead of having an extra expense, extra nuisance, extra thing that we have to worry about, we would have extra stream of income. Imagine if I told you, what if I told you if you had a car, if you get a new car for 30K for the car, you would be able to make $70,000 that year. What about if you would be able to make a $70,000 a day? How about a week? How then your perspective would have changed about purchasing, investing in the car versus just thinking about, I just need a car. So today we're going to talk about today we're going to talk about how to stop being controlled by the money. How to stop being controlled by the money. You might be wondering, okay, uh, and listen, as you're joining this episode, I encourage you to drop me in the chat. What do you feel and what do you think when you hear purchasing a new car? You probably think about monthly payment. You probably think about how can I afford it. You probably think about the price, right? Because this is what I think. This is how society teaches us to think about every single investment. But what if I told you that instead of thinking about the price, how much you have to pay for a, an investment, a product, a program, a mastermind, a school that you want, a course that you want and that you need, think about how to turn it into an investment and how to get the return on your investment. Let me give you an example with the car. And please stick around with me because it has everything to do with your business. So let's say you purchase a car for 30K, just an example. And how would you make $70,000 that year on that car? Well, you can start from a very simple implementation level. And that implementation level would be just drive a car for other people, getting them from point A to point B. And you can implement the systems that are already there. You can drive Uber, you can drive Lyft, or you can deliver services. You can or services and goods to people. So you can use Instacart, you can work for Amazon, or you can just create your own private delivery service, right? But what if I tell you that there is a that there is a actually a better way to create a better value? What if I told you that you can use that car to drive to a conference and you can sell on stage your offer that will make you $70,000 that day? Not that year, but that day. How your perspective would have changed about buying a car. So how is it relevant to like business coaching and personal development and our investments and how we invest in ourselves? It has everything to do how we think of our investment, how we think about how we invest in ourselves and our future. So we often focus on monthly installments, right? Like how much money it will cost me per month, how much money it will cost me per year, because society teaches us how to think, how to like really attach time and money together. But this is wrong. But this is wrong. If we constantly attach money to the time, we will always have limited amount of money because we have limited amount of time. So instead of like tying this together, and instead of thinking about like treating an investment in yourself or like in your future as an expense, think about how you can turn around. How can you turn it around? Uh, Also, thinking about if you can turn your investment in your car into a profitable investment, right, by driving to conferences or like starting from the implementation level when you drive other people from point A to point B to all the way to level where you serve people at the higher level, when you teach people, when you deliver services and making more money with that investment, that will change your perspective. What about yourself? What if you could invest in yourself, in your knowledge, in your skill set, that you could deliver that value to other people? That changes the whole perspective. That changes the whole perspective. And it's also the matter of trusting in yourself, trusting in your abilities, and more importantly, caring about others more than you care about yourself, caring about your customers. Once you start focusing on your customers, on your clients that you deliver value to, then your perspective totally shifts. Your perspective totally shifts. All right, welcome everybody. Today's day 9. Today is the last day of our masterclass. Today is the last day of our masterclass. Please, as you join me live, say hello in the chat. Say hello in the chat and tell me where you're watching me from. Also, if you were writing with me from the beginning, from the day one, drop in the chat day one. Also, if you're being like catching up with my live streams and with my masterclass on the replay, drop replay team. So today I would like to talk about how really trusting myself and investing in myself and saying yeah, best yes to myself changed my life. And it's not about coaching, and it's not about coaching industry. It's not really about running a business. It's about really trusting myself and changing my perspective, how I see myself and how I see money and how I see the investment. And more importantly, how I learn in my life and in my business and in my career not to be controlled by the money, because money is also a resource that like is a fluid resource, right? Like you have more money, you have less money, you have more money, you have less money. And if you like it, and you don't want to tie your life to be dependent 100% on on the price of the thing that you want. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. When I moved to Chicago from Moscow, I only had $10,000 in my, well, $11,000 in my bank account. It's 1,000 more than U.S. government allows you to transfer from the foreign bank to the U.S. bank. I did not know that. So when I moved to Chicago, about 11 years ago, I did not know when I would be able to legally work. I did not have a legal permit, or I was not able to work in the US legally. And it was a big leap of faith. And also, like, I would have to spend about $5,000 on my attorney to figure out my legal situation, to figure out what options are available for me. And there's no guarantee that it's going to work out. And I also have only $5,000 left to live in a foreign country, finding rent without rental history, without work history in the US, and with questionable, well, actually with no income, because when I moved to the United States, obviously I did not have a job. So picture this: finding a rental place to stay In this situation, you only have $5,000 to your name because you need another $5,000 for your lawyer, and you need to figure out how to stay. And you don't know when the next paycheck, when the next payment, when the next resource is coming in. That was scary. That was scary, but I decided to bet on myself. I decided to bet on myself and say, you know what, like I'm going to figure it out. And I said yes. And like the beauty of it, like the beauty of trusting in myself, the beauty of trusting God and trusting universe and trusting that everything will fall into place is that it did. It's actually did. Like probably like 3 months later, I was able to find I was able to get my paperwork done that allowed me actually to work legally in the United States. And about a month after, I was able to legally work, make money, make profit, and comfortably pay for my rent. On top of that, I have property back at home that I was able to rent out, and if not in full, partially pay for my rent in Chicago. See, like when we see the opportunity, when we see the opportunity and we have the intention of following those opportunities, where there is a will, there is a way. Like we find those opportunities and we find those resources. And I'm not saying that you should be irresponsible with your finances. I'm saying if you see the future, if you see yourself going to that mountain, and it's important to trust yourself, and it's important to not be controlled by the money and not focus on the and not consider yourself as an expense, because in our society, in our education, in our norm, in our no, no, in our reality, we often consider ourselves, our needs, our developments, our dreams as expenses. But this is wrong. But this is wrong because this is not an expense. This is investment. This is not an expense. This is investment that can bring further development, for further fruit in your life and in your business. The same goes with business coaching. And before I even go into business coaching and into investment in myself, this like throughout my career, I was reflecting on it because I'm a high ticket buyer. Like I buy uh, programs in masterminds to develop my skill set, to better myself, and I'm huge fan of personal and business development. And I'm thinking, like, well, is it new or is it something was there before? It was something that was there before again, because from early on, as soon as I finished high school, really, like even before I got into college, I started thinking myself about myself as an investment. Back then, I was a sign language interpreter, and I was thinking, how can I be the best of sign language interpreter that is out there? How can I put my name on the map? And I decided to invest in a very expensive certification course that was done by famous interpreters in the country. They were interpreting the news for the local news station, and they were children of deaf adults, coda, and they were just on top of their industry, because I wanted to be the best, because I wanted to be on the same level, and I was able to do that. But it's because I didn't consider that as an expense. I consider that as an investment in myself. And the return on investment was that, indeed, like every single emergency department, every single institution around me, and individuals, they knew my number. I would get messages, I would get invitations for freelance interpreting. I was basically running my business. So, but like if you remember in the day one, I was talking about the identity. It had everything to do with identity. I could have stopped right there and just run my business as a freelance interpreter. Like nothing would stop me. But my identity was not quite right. My identity wasn't like quite right. Also, when it comes to tech industry and therapy industry, I would invest into additional courses. I would invest in additional programs because I wanted to be the best of the best of the best. If you look at my LinkedIn profile and you look at my certifications, like I invested in my certifications and in my education very heavily because I saw the value because I wanted to be the best, even though a lot of certifications they were not required by my school. They were not required to graduate and get the diploma and actually practice therapy and psychology and seeing clients. It was not required, but like I wanted to get it in. I wanted to invest in myself because I wanted to be the best of the best of the best. That was my driving factor. That was my driving factor. And at the end of the day, when we invest in ourselves, when we trust ourselves, we can make more return on investment than like we actually invest in a certain resource. Let's also talk about business coaching. Since we're talking about business, since we're talking about business coaching and how business coaching really changed my life, like well, when I started my business, this is what often hear from people that either I want to try it myself or I'm not ready to like I'm not ready to invest in myself. But mostly like I want to try it myself or like I don't or I'm not ready to do it like right now, right away. So like when I started my business, I still have my corporate job, but I also realized that money loves speed. I also realized that money loves speed. And if I have this idea, if I have this download, if I have this passion to build something on my own for myself, I might as well find a mentor that will help me to get there faster. Not because I could, um, not because I thought it like I something was wrong with me. It's just like I realized I needed a skill. When I put together my first landing page, everything on that landing page was absolutely completely wrong. The copy was wrong, the language was wrong, the structure was wrong. It was way too long. It was like it was not convertible. This is when I realized that, hey, I need someone to actually show me the way and actually show me the better way to do that because they're like again, um, uh, uh, on one of the sessions, a guest on my channel actually said there are so many ways and there are so many coaches that say so many different and conflicting things, right? How, like what is the right way? And the right way is to find your mentor that resonates with you and actually follow that way. Have your blinders on and follow that way. And this is what helped me to bring the return on investment. Listen, last year I invested heavily in myself. I invested about $20,000 in my business and in myself. But what was the outcome of that? I was able to run my business full time. I got laid off. Listen, the worst thing that can happen to you as an entrepreneur is when you start a business or when you pivot in your business and you lose your main source of income. At that time, that was my employment in tech. I was working as a software engineer, as a mobile engineer. I started my business like at the mark of 90 days, everything was working well. I was getting clear on my messaging. I was getting consultations. I was getting new clients, and I actually got a new client. But my business was not quite at the level where I could just walk away from my corporate job. But because of the circumstances, I was forced out of my corporate job. But because of the investment that I made in myself, first and foremost, in my skills, I was able to, like last year, I was able to close um very close. I was able to close six figures, right? In like combining everything, like business consulting, clients, and actually a huge chunk of that number was the income from my business. And I often hear stories how people try to run their business and make it profitable for months or even years. And it's so hard because, again, there are a lot of moving pieces that people need to figure out. And this is the return on investment. And also another thing that I see in the industry and with other people, I already said the lack of urgency. We don't act we don't act with urgency when it comes to ourselves. We think we can figure it out. We think it is not a priority. We think it is we think when, oh, like when my business is profitable, I will probably invest. In order for your business to be profitable, you have to have the right skills and the right people to make it profitable, whether it's created by collaboration. And one of the collaborations is actually being a part of the community of like-minded people, having a like-minded mentor who is like a few steps ahead of you and can show you the way to do it faster. Because a lot of you, I had a lot of consultations past week. A lot of you have very solid offer. What people are missing right now, like, yes, the lack of urgency. You need to act in your business like it matters. You need to build your business today. Offer positioning. Sometimes people think like my offer is not solid. In fact, your offer might be solid. It's offer positioning. And it's like how, like what value you deliver or what level of value you deliver to your customer and how you price it and how you articulate that value. You might deliver an amazing value, but you don't know how to articulate it. Or maybe your pricing strategy is so unsafe for your customers. So everybody says, I need to think about it because you didn't make it as a no-brainer offer, as like or like providing comprehensive way for them to actually understand what they're paying for and actually have comprehensive payment plan to pay for it. So that's another thing. Messaging. A lot of like messaging is a huge problem. It's not just for other entrepreneurs. And messaging is something that I had to understand at the beginning because when I put together my LinkedIn profile, right, like your LinkedIn profile as your landing page, you communicate your value, you provide value. Sometimes we run into issues with messaging, and this is when I said it before and I say it again. Content pillars don't work. You have to be you have to guide your audience through the different levels of awareness and make them aware of the problem that you're solving and make them aware of the solution that you're providing and make them most aware that you are the solution for them. And it's through not just through content pillars, even though a lot of components in content pillars, like they're really good and you should use them, but how do you turn those content pillars into content seasons so you can organically lead your audience to your offer, not with, because a lot of entrepreneurs right now, this is like this is a huge mistake that I have done in my business, and I'm seeing other entrepreneurs are making. They're leading with their solution. And it's a lot of how-to videos It's a lot of videos about like a straight strategy, how to run your business. It's a lot of videos, it's a lot of content, it's a lot of content what to do. But this content will work really, really well when your audience already knows what is the problem. And indeed, they have the problem that you're solving with your content and with your offer. Then that content will land. Then that content will resonate, right? But like a lot of the time, it's premature, and that is not landing, and that is missing. And another thing, right? Another thing, you are so focused on your business solution, on your offer, on the services that you're providing, but we don't know you. If you notice for the past 9 days, I was telling you different stories. As a matter of fact, even just in this session today, you know that I moved from Moscow, Russia, that I didn't have work visa when I moved to the United States, that I only had $11,000 and US bank almost blocked the transaction, They actually invited me to a separate room for the interview, but the higher official of the bank, he said like that's fine, and just like it's just like $10,000 and 10,900. So this is not the threshold. This is not an issue. You can have your money, right? You are getting to know me as we speak, and also like you are getting to know my story, right? How I started my business, how I got laid off, right? Like you know where I live, right? And yes, I'm talking about business, I'm providing value, but also there's a human connection. There's a human connection because right now I like, if I'm being honest with you, we lack human connection with technology, with chat gpt, with AI on the rise, and especially in the coaching in educational system, a lot of the people miss that human connection. So this is how business coaching truly changed my life. I first of all, at the end of the day, I understood that I should think about my expenses, not as expenses, but as investments. For example, I have two programs as of right now that I considering as a user. So one investment is about $6,000. Another investment is about like what is that? I think it is like 3,500 or $4,000, something like that. So instead of looking at that as an expense, I'm thinking about, okay, how many offers do I need to make in order to get that? And also, what is like, even if I make a risk and invest that money right now in myself, why I am investing that? What is the return on investment? And the return on investment is systemization in my business, right? Having systems, having a way how to systemize my business and make it more organized and make it more profitable. This is the return on investment. This is how, like, I'm in my family, we are jokingly say that everything has to have a job. And this is literally, if you walk through my house, I have very minimalistic lifestyle because everything has to have a job. If that item is not getting a return on investment, it shouldn't be here. Everything has to have a job. And if something is not having a job, if something is not bringing the return on investment, I simply don't need it. And it's also very liberating because I was able to release so many things from my life and like honestly from my business that I no longer need. So as you're watching me, uh drop in the chat what resonated with you. Share with me in the chat what resonated with you. What was the most influential point of my live stream today? Is it like the way we think, right? Because like what we covered today is the way we think, is the way we look at the investment. And we often focus on numbers and the like face value expense that we have to deal with versus reverse engineering the return on investment. And this is, my friends, this is really what will change your life. Also, today is the last day of my masterclass, and I invite you to book a consultation with me, book a complimentary consultation with me. I'm looking for two people. I'm looking for service-based entrepreneurs who are interested in high ticket offer. You can be a mentor, you can be a coach, you can be a service provider, and well, I specialize in high ticket sales, high ticket offer, and I specialize in organic lead generation, LinkedIn as your main platform, and YouTube as your backend, as your secondary platform. So, if high ticket offer and something that you would like to sell, like you're already selling, if you need help with your sales, if you need help with your marketing, if you need help with your content strategy that will turn it into a machine that will get your clients through your content, through your ethos, and convert into high paying clients, book a call with me, book a consultation with me. If you need help with your offer, in the offer position, book a call with me. And this is like on Sunday, I was breaking down how I work with entrepreneurs and what we exactly do. And we follow three easy steps. Like the first step is to build, like really build your foundation, build your ideal customer profile, and build your ideal messaging. A lot of people think that they haven't figured it out, but like actually, uh, what I'm seeing with my clients, it's the lack of market research, and I teach you how to do market research. After we're done with that, we're like I'm teaching you how to implement organic content system, content seasons that will indeed uh, attract more qualified people, more qualified buyers into your ethos. And I also, probably one of my favorite parts how I serve entrepreneurs is sales training, role play sales training. It's not going to be just one and done. And it's like, because listen, sales, like customer conversion, sales is a skill that you need to develop. Sales is a reps that you need to develop multiple times. And this is why I invest so heavily in my program on role play sales training. And also how to make your business more standardized, more scalable. Because a lot of the time when I work with my clients, they focus on maybe on one-on-one program, maybe on creating like I don't know a small group, but very often, a lot of my clients run into capacity issue. But like, how do you scale? How do you build your business that is scalable? That you're not trading time for money, as we were talking in the beginning, but rather creating a value container that people can get a lot of value from. So book a call with me. The way you can book a call with me, you can drop in the chat, book a call, and I will send you the link to book a call with me. Or you can send me a private message, direct message on LinkedIn or on Instagram or on Facebook and request a consultation. I will send you the link to book a call with me. Also, I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here with me, tuning in for 9 days. Today is the last day, and today, I would like to conclude with that the cost of inaction, the cost of inaction on your business on your life, it's always greater than the price of investment, any investment. I'm not talking about just my program, I'm not talking about just my services. When we refuse to act with urgency in our lives, we always pay the price. We always pay the price. And that price, either the cost of inaction or the cost of investment, but with the cost of investment, we are getting the return on investment as well. The cost of inaction does not have the return on investment, except the fact that you realize really quickly that there's something wrong. But the return on investment, when you invest and you trust yourself, as growth, as financial growth, as new clients, as more clear messaging. This is the return on investment. So, my friends, thank you so much. Also, I posted a poll today, and what I want to do, like probably next week, I would like to teach you how to diagnose your messaging and your launch. So, if you have not voted yet, if you have not voted yet, please vote on that poll. Like, and also like, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Would that be helpful for you if next week I would do a live stream and I would provide a tool how to diagnose your launch and how to diagnose your messaging? Drop yes in the chat if it's something that you would like me to do next week. Please drop yes in the chat, whether you're watching on the replay or online. Drop yes in the chat if it's something that you would like me to share next week. Because I personally, in my business, that was my struggle. Like, how do I diagnose my messaging? Because a lot of people are talking about messaging, a lot of people talking about marketing, a lot of people talking about how to launch your program or product, how to market, but how to diagnose your messaging. So drop yes in the chat on the replay or during live if it's something that you would like me to cover, and also vote on the poll. All right. Uh, Thank you so much for your time, for investing your time for me in here. Like, I deeply, deeply appreciate you. I deeply, deeply appreciate you. Thank you so much, everybody. And again, if you have any questions, if you have thoughts, share them in the comments. If you also like, if you are not following me on YouTube, follow me on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube and it resonates with you, you know what to do. So after this live stream is done, I will be monitoring. I will be looking at the comments. So definitely, if something resonates with you, if something speaks to you, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, because I will be checking the comments. I will be answering your questions as well. All right. Well, thank you, my friends. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will talk to you later. All right. Bye, y'all.